Well, thank you everybody for joining. My name is Johnny Freeman. I'm Pozotron's Customer Outreach Manager, and I'm joined by our wonderful CEO, Adam Fritz, as well. Um, so thanks again for joining. Today we thought it'd be a good idea to show you what's new in Pozotron Studio. Our development team is really busy. I think we have an update every 2 weeks, at the minimum. So we're constantly adding new features, improving old functionality, and we don't wait till the end of the year or anything, so you might have actually missed some of these updates. So thought it'd be helpful to do a tour of Positron today, highlighting all of the new functionality. Um, so hopefully you learned something new and can bring something back to your workflow when you're working in Positron. By the way, we love to answer questions live. So as we go through this, if you do have a question, feel free to fire away in the Q&A box. That'll alert us that there's a question, and we love to answer them live. So don't hesitate to put them in there. As far as the agenda goes, so first we're going to be talking about project updates. These are features that affect your entire project in Positron. And then we're going to go into specific tools within the studio, our proofing tool, our script prep tools, some project management features that are new that we want to show off. And at the end, there's Q&A, but like I said, feel free to drop any questions you have as we go along. And with that, we'll get started. So first thing I'm going to show you is the Create New Project menu here. So we made actually a lot of changes to this. And let me pull over Positron so you can take a look at the real thing. Adam, can you see this? Good. Okay, great. Um, so the first thing you'll notice, oh, sorry, Adam, are you muted?
Yeah, I had actually muted my system microphone because meeting notifier went off. Just a reminder to everyone, just I'll have the Q&A box open. So if you do have questions, please put it in there rather than the chat.
Absolutely. Thank you. Um, Great. Okay, so you can see this. So the first thing you'll notice, and I actually don't know what it defaults to, but when you log into Positron, you may be in our old UI here. So we actually created a new UI for this homepage, and UI stands for user interface. Um, Not only did we make it kind of prettier and it's more purple now, but we did introduce some new functionality here, primarily folders. So if I go back to the old UI, you'll see I've got a bunch of projects all listed down here. If I switch to my new UI, I have these organized into folders. So this was requested a lot, actually. Just when you use Positron for a while, you might have 20, 30 projects in here, and we do have a search bar, but it can get pretty cluttered. So if you do want to use these folders, just make sure that you're on the new UI button, and you'll see that up at the top there. It will become automatic at some point when we're done with the entire studio, but for now you'll have to switch. Um, and to create a folder, it's really easy. There's a three-dot menu right here next to any existing folders you have. You can click that to create a folder. Just give it a title and it'll populate here. Once a folder's been created, you can move any project around just by selecting it and then clicking the move button down here. You can also you do any project settings like delete it or archive it. But you can move these around just with the click of a button. So most people have just like a completed folder, so they have their in progress ones unfiled in the main projects page here. Then they move them over as they complete to keep this nice and tidy. So nice feature there. Some new additions as well have been made to the Create New Project screen. Now some of these features have been here for a few months, so you might be familiar with it, but I'll go through all of these here. So you can always give it a title. You can now enter the customer if you want to put that in the customer field. You can select a folder to put it into right away as you create it, upload the manuscript, and then there's additional project details here. So you've always been able to give it an ID number and a due date. However, now you can actually put statuses on your projects. So you can keep your um, progress on each project uh, clearly laid out for yourself with different activities here. Um, you can also enter any notes you'd like about the entire project in here. We already got a question. I have noticed that the new UI takes a bit longer to load than before. Is this something that will be fixed, or is it just that I should create folders so not all of them?
That's something with the reason we've rolled it out in beta is when you roll something out that's this complex of a change, it just takes time to optimize. So yes, it will get better, but that's why we offer both options right now. Good question.
Exactly. Yep, great question. So you can always move back to the old UI if it's taken a little long, but putting them into folders actually should help with that. So
And then other question, how can I move the projects in bulk? Excuse me, and that's something Johnny can show, but you only have one project in this.
nope, I've got a bunch here, different projects or folders here. So if you have multiple projects, you can just select any project you want to move around. So you can just select them all with that little checkbox in the top left corner and then move all of them at once. So you don't need to do it one at a time. Um, you can select, as many as you want and move them around. But you can see I had a lot of messy projects, so I put them all into folders, and so that's why this is so clean. But yep, just select it, and you'll be able to move as many as you want. Great question. Thank you. All right, moving forward, we do still have our sensitivity options here. If you're unaware of what these do, these allow you to tell Positron uh, how strict or how relaxed you'd like it to be with its proofing and noise detection algorithms. So these are separate algorithms. You can tell Positron to relax or be extra sensitive. Positron is still extremely accurate on whatever setting you choose, but this does give you some influence on the amount of suggestions you're getting from Positron. So those are there as usual. Now, the last option here, this is brand new. I think it was just released a couple weeks ago. The manuscript processing options. So this allows you to actually tell Positron how you'd like it to read your script, and gives you a lot of control over what you want Positron to expect the narrator to say in the recording, what you want Positron to skip over. Um, So there's a couple options here. I'll quickly show you what this does because it does give you a lot of control over this. But first, there's an option for PDF annotations handling. Now, what that means is when you upload your script to Positron, I've got a script here. Usually, Positron just recognizes all the text in the PDF and it expects the narrator to say it in sequential order. So that's how it works at a base level. However, sometimes there's footnotes or there's URLs or notes from the author or notes that the narrator put on themselves. And then Positron reads those and expects you to say them, and it can make the proofing um, a little bit messier than it could be. So what these options allow you to do, the very first one is remove crossed out text. So simply put, if there is anything in your, I'll just make this full. If there is anything in your script that you don't want Positron to expect you to read, it's really simple now. In a PDF reader, you can just select any section here and click this strike through button. So adding a strike through, when you upload this to Positron, Positron will not see this text at all, and it won't expect you to read it. So it's really easy now for you to remove footnotes, anything anything that you don't want in there. Now it's super simple to remove that. So that's just the first option. The other option, let me pull it up again. Add comment text to manuscript. Now we tried to make these self-explanatory, but what this means is if I want to add something to the script, so actually add text that I want Positron to expect me to narrate. Super simple. You just select a comment, which is right here, right here, add a comment. So wherever I add a comment, if I put it right here and I type whatever I type in here, Pozotron Studio is awesome. Anything that I type in here, Pozotron will actually read this as if it was a part of the script. So if you do need to add any changes in here, it'll put the text exactly where your comment is. So after version 2, Pozotron would expect you to say Pozotron Studio is awesome. So we're introducing ways for you to quickly be able to manipulate your PDFs and have Pozotron know what you're talking about. The next option is a little bit more complex, but essentially, if you have a section of text that is crossed out, so let's say this section here, Pozotron Studio is an AI-powered production tool. If I wanted to replace this, I would strike it out, and then I would add a comment directly after the strike through. If I do this, I say Pozotron Studio is awesome. I can't think of anything else to write. What this will do, Pozotron will now expect in your proofing page, it would say version 2, Pozotron Studio is awesome, designed to ensure that performance always comes first. So it would replace whatever text is here with the comment right there. It looks like we have some questions from Margaret. So would I need to strike out the chapter name that appears at the bottom of the pages? Not usually. So Pozotron automatically ignores things like page numbers and this Pozotron demo packet, this kind of subtitle here. It should remove these automatically. Depending on the format of your script, sometimes these do show up, and if that
And
happened, you could cross that out.
that's generally if, so we recognize headers and footers to ignore based on how often they appear. So some books, have the chapter name show up every fifth page or something like that, then generally that will show up. So it really comes down to we have an algorithm that detects whether something at the top or bottom of the page is
Repeating.
consistent or inconsistent, because we don't want to ignore text by mistake.
Exactly. So it does depend on your script, but it should already be removing those for you if it's standardly formatted. Um, the last option on here, oh, actually, it looks like we have another question from Kelly. Is there a way to get a folder to be defaulted so that when I open the app, those projects appear by default? Yes, so anything that is unfiled will actually appear by default. So if it's not in a folder, it will show up here. This one is not currently in a folder. So this will be the first thing you see, and then you can click on any other folder to see those projects. So if you want it to be apparent right away when you log in, just folder out all the other projects, and then this one, whatever you're currently working on will be the first one you see. Awesome. Okay. Last setting on this manuscript processing options. And let me know what you think of these. We saw that a lot of people formatted their scripts like this already, so we tried to integrate it to Pozotron. But here, the last one is ignore free text annotations. So this is really useful if you need to leave a note for yourself. If I add a text comment box like this, and I say, please do not read any URLs in this audiobook. This text here will not be recognized by Pozotron. So you're able to leave notes for yourself, or the author can leave notes for you in this format, and it won't mess up the proofing algorithm in Pozotron. Kelly, is the issue with the manuscript in PDF having issues in Pozotron, especially with words starting with F? If so, please clarify. So that is another issue. So those are usually ligature issues. The letter F, commonly in a lot of fonts, is connected to the next letter that it's, so FI, they'd be combined into one. This is a pretty common issue with PDFs. We have introduced lots of ways to fix this. So if you do have an issue with your script, just shoot us an email and we'll be able to reprocess it to remove those ligature issues. Um,
And we will be building in new ways to prompt you when we detect these issues for you to solve them yourself. PDFs
exactly.
are, quite frankly, a nightmare. But it is what it is. I have a lot of thoughts on PDFs, but now's not the right time.
Luckily, it's a manageable nightmare, so we can help you with that. All right, so those are the new settings in the Create New Project window. Um, Let me pull up our slideshow and we'll continue onward. Any questions, feedback on that, please let me know. Next, I'll show you some new features, new additions to the project page. So let me pull up Positron again. So this page is the first page you're brought to when entering a project. You'll be under the Proofing tab. And you'll notice there are some changes. So the first couple of changes are the total annotations bar here. So we will show you the all of the annotations Positron's made. We tally them up at the top here. So if you have a ton of audio files in here, you'll be able to see the progress of your project just at the top here. We also show you the created date, so you can keep track of when these files were uploaded, make sure that they're the correct versions of these things. Um, it looks like we did have a question in the chat from Ellie.
If we have the Word doc, is there a font or formatting you recommend or optimize? No. So for the most part, I mean, just use any standard font, Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman. I mean, ideally not Comic Sans, but that's only for your own sanity. Yeah, really anything, and it does not matter what font you use.
Yep.
And then
Especially,
Wingdings is not ideal either.
yeah, any of the standard ones, and Word tends to be a little better than PDFs anyway, so the font is a little less important in Word documents. Um, but great question.
Mhm.
Now, moving on, so something you may have not noticed is this project actions audit. This is a little button here that if I click this, this will show me the entire history of this project. So when audio was uploaded, when chapter settings were changed, when reports were exported, and also importantly, when things like the project was reset. I can see that this project was reset just at 12:30 my time, which deleted all this previous work, but I still have a paper trail showing me exactly what's going on here. So if you're collaborating with people inside a project, um, you'll be able to see what's going on and kind of follow back. If anything's going wrong, you'll usually be able to find out where or what happened using the project actions audit button there. Um, Another question from Kelly. Maybe this is not a new feature, but I struggle with how to delete a chapter that I uploaded earlier. I want to replace that same chapter. I don't see a delete option when I right click, only archive or export. That is correct, Kelly. There is no way to delete a chapter. Um, the reason for this is when you've uploaded a chapter, you have paid Positron to process it. So we don't want you to delete it and lose out on the value and the money that you paid for that chapter. So we only allow you to archive it. It's essentially the same thing, although archiving, you always have the option to recover um, a a chapter. So if anything's mistakenly deleted, you can bring it back with this button here. And this is actually a new feature with the archive window here, is you used to have to do it one at a time. It was very requested to be able to just select as many as you want and archive selected or recover selected. So that's a quality of life improvement we made to that. But it is intentional. We've had accidental deletions, and they're never fun. So we make it very difficult. You can delete an entire project from here, and this will delete the data, the chapters as well. Um, but that is the only area you could do it.
A reminder, please put your questions in the Q&A box because monitoring the chat is a little more difficult. Is there a way to change my settings so that when I go to archive, there isn't the pop-up? No, there's no way. So that's why you can do it. Well, when you do it from the archive window, it does not give you that prompt. Um, But if you do it from there, yes. So
Yep. So from
if you
here,
don't want the pop-up, Johnny, if you show off the archive button again.
yep. From here, you can go to active. So this will show you everything that's currently active in your project. Here you can select as many as you want and then hit that archive selected button. So you don't need to click that one at a time for each of the chapters. Um, so yeah, use this archive button up here if you need to do that. Um, great. Well, love all the questions. Keep them coming. Moving on, the annotation filter is a really handy feature. We've made some improvements to this. So what this does by its base level is you can select a certain kind of annotation that Positron's flags. So every pause, every noise, or every missed word, and you can filter them out. This will just remove them from the proofing interface. So if you do want to focus on a particular kind of annotation, you can do that. But we've allowed you to get even more granular with this. Under misreads, you can actually filter out contractions only. So we had requests that changing I will not do this to I won't do this. Um, that's considered okay in the project. This allows you to ignore any occurrence of that throughout the entire project. So you can use that. Under missed words, it's another option here. A sub option is only parenthetical text. So if you're skipping everything in parentheses and it's annoying that Positron keeps flagging it, you can actually filter out all of these occurrences there as well. The chapter start and end is new as well. So those start and end annotations, you can get rid of those. So we're trying to make this as granular as possible, give you full control over what sort of things Positron's going to flag for you. Awesome, Danielle. That's great. Thanks for the feedback. Um, we got a couple of questions. One from Lillian. If I want to search for a specific word or phrase in a project, can I do that and have it search the whole project, or do I have to go chapter by chapter? There is a wonderful button for you right here called Skin Occurrences. This will search your entire audio, every audio file you've uploaded for a particular word or phrase. So this is part of the prep tool package, so you will need to purchase access to it per project. But this allows me to add a word, and it'll show me every single time this word is detected in the audio. So then you can hit scan and listen back to each of those occurrences. Lillian, I have a great tutorial on this as well, so I'll make sure to send that to you after the webinar.
Just to be clear, this scan occurrences is based on the audio. And if you
Mhm.
do want to search based on the text, Johnny, if you go to pronunciation and add Sherlock to there,
Oh,
and
it's
then
already
click,
in there. All
okay,
right,
then
so
click on the, or it doesn't matter. Click on any abortive, it doesn't matter.
yep,
Click on any of them. Um, oh, actually go back, Johnny, if you capitalize, you'll need to toggle on capitalized comment and Sherlock
there
will
we
show up.
go. It should have Sherlock.
Um,
Here he
and then
is.
if you
Okay.
click on the count, that will show you every occurrence and every page number of it from the text. So you can search from through the text in the pronunciation guide. You can search in the audio using scan occurrences.
Exactly, and this is new. So the all occurrences, we used to only show you, I think, 5 occurrences. So now you can see every single occurrence of any word in there. Um, Thank you for the question. And Kelly, can you show again how to get to the annotation filter? Absolutely. So it's right here. And one trick, if you are too zoomed in Positron, the annotation filter will go away and it will actually be located under your project settings. So if you're not seeing it here, just zoom out a little bit and it should show up for you. Great. Well, I love all the questions, but I do forget where I was. All right, I think we've gone through all of these. Um, Good. So moving on. So actually, a couple of export options that are brand new in this projects page. So under the import export button, all of our handy reports live here. There's a few new ones now. So I'll go through these. First off, you can download your manuscript now. You always could, but you had to click this button up here and then it would open it up in another tab. You could download it from there. This button will just allow you to download the manuscript. with one click. The missed chapters report is pretty interesting. So if you have a lot of audio files, you upload them all to Pozotron, and it can get a little messy if there's, 30 files here and you want to make sure every single one was uploaded. What this does, you do need to have your chapter titles include a chapter number. But if I hit export here, this will download an Excel sheet. And if I open it up, it's going to quickly show me that I'm missing chapter 4. And if I look here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So based off of the numbering of your files, you'll be able to, at a glance, see if there's a matching audio file found for it. So handy on larger projects, that is there if you need it. The last one is the PDF pickup export, which I will show you after I mark some things as pickup, actually, because there's nothing there. Actually, I'll just show you quickly here. I'm just going to mark a couple things as pickup. And then I'll come back here. The PDF pickup export is another kind of pickup report. So some people requested this. They like it in a PDF with either the mistake highlighted in the PDF or underlined with a circle or both. So you have options here for the format you'd like there. You can choose how much of the text to highlight for the pickup, but I'll just show you what this does really quickly. This downloads a PDF, or actually downloads a little package. And in that package, I'm going to have the MP3 files for each of my pickups. So little clips showing me the mistakes that I marked. The PDF right here. This is the format for the PDF pickup export. This will have the page from the section of the script where the pickup was located. The actual pickup will be highlighted. The mistake will be in a comment box here showing what was said. So that was said, it should be there with the timestamp and all of the information you need to record it. So this is another report you have at your disposal for doing your pickups. So people have different styles and some people prefer this. So this is an option.
Question from Kelly Wilkinson. If I'm doing a dual narration project, how is it normally recommended to handle here? I upload the entire manuscript, only load chapters to narrate. Is there a better way? No, that's exactly right, Kelly. And I would recommend if you're doing dual narration, we do have we'll put a support. We do have a support article on dual narration. So I will put that in the chat that'll walk you through um, everything that you would need to do for that. So I will send that in the chat. So take take a look at that when you have a second.
Thanks, Adam. All right, I'm going to start speeding up because I guess it's already been 30 minutes. So I'll be running through this now. The proofing interface. So a bunch of new things have been added to this interface when you're actually proofing a chapter. First thing is bookmarks. This is a really handy just quality of life improvement here. So if I'm proofing a chapter and I'm going through, I'm marking things as pick up and okay, and then I have to go and do something else. There's a little button here, either on an annotation or up here at the top. So I can click wherever I'd like to leave my bookmark, click this button, and this will add a little section here showing me where I left off. So if I leave this chapter, we'll see this resume button shows up here. And if this was a really long chapter, if I click resume, it'll actually scroll exactly down to the area I was just working at. Just a small improvement to make it easy for you to get back into a project after taking a break. A feature that I have gone over before, but is a new feature, is our script sync functionality here. So script sync allows you to communicate, or Pozotron to communicate from its script prep tools to the proofing interface. So if I have a character in my character guide and words on my pronunciation guide, if I go into a chapter, I'm going to go into the Sherlock Holmes chapter. Script sync is located up in the top left. What this allows you to do is highlight any words that are on your character guide or pronunciation guide and access the character notes, the pronunciation notes, and recordings that you saved in your guide. So if I click on Sherlock here, I'll actually see all of the details about who this character is. I have access to the voice notes that I recorded for him. So as I listen to his dialogue, I can then listen to the voice recording, ensure the correct character voice was used, um, and basically have a better idea of how this character is being performed here. So script sync is really helpful, especially for things that, made up words that Positron's not going to know the correct pronunciation for. You'll have that data available to you in here. What's really helpful as well is it's a two-way communication, so I can send anything from the proofing interface to a character in my character guide or to a word in my pronunciation guide. So if I want to take a line of dialogue from Sherlock and add it to his character guide, I can do that really easily from the proofing interface. Thanks, Kelly. That's great. Glad to hear these features are in line with what you need. Another new one that you might have noticed when I highlighted this is this button here. So download audio. You're actually able to cut up snippets from all of your audio files in Positron with this feature here. You just click and highlight any clip you want to create and click this download audio button, and it instantly downloads a snippet of this audio here. So it's really handy. You can then do whatever you need to with that MP3, but that is brand new as well.
And if we're working on a multi-book project, can we share character references from one book project to the other? Yes, you can use the transfer research function, and it will automatically actually pull it in from book to book as well. If you add the same character in your second book to your list, it should automatically pull those in.
Yep, you'll notice when I added Sherlock, this data was actually automatically populated. That's because I have Sherlock in a different project. So it will automatically pull it. But if you want to manually transfer it from project to project, under this import export button is a transfer research tool right here. So you can use that for book series. That's exactly what it's designed for. So, alrighty, let's go through this. Back to the proofing interface. So bookmarks are fantastic. One other addition is this proofing speed option here. So we've introduced a ton of different options if you want to speed up or slow down the audio while you proof. It goes all the way up to 2x and down to half. Um, the hotkeys also listed here. There are new hotkeys in here. If you weren't aware of these, this little button right here will show you whatever hotkeys that we have integrated with Pozotron. Pretty much any tag that exists has a quick hotkey on your keyboard. So take a look at those. There's some new ones in there as well. Lastly on this, if you add a custom pickup, so if I create a pickup here and I put a note in here and hit save, small quality of life improvement that can really help the cleanliness of your projects is you can actually delete these annotations now. So you're able to remove those, whereas before they were just there till the end of time if you added one. All right, Adam, anything I missed there?
No, it all looks great.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah, I
moving.
would I would say if you do the hotkeys are a really, really effective way to speed up your workflow. So you do have specific questions on that. Book a demo with us to show off that feature because we'll put it in the chat on speed mode if there hasn't been one in there. Or Daria, if you can put the speed mode article in there, that's a really, really effective way to speed up your prompt your proofing in Positron.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on to the pronunciation guide, there's four kind of main new features here that I'd like to show you. So the first one is assigning entries. So this has been requested. You've actually been able to assign a user to a particular entry for a little while with this little person icon here. If you've shared this project with anybody, you're able to select them from this dropdown. So you'll see webinars at Pozotron.com. It's the only person on this project, but I can assign it to webinars. Let's say this is the author or your collaborator. They can then come in here and filter this list by clicking this drop down here to assigned to me. So this will remove all of the other words from the list, and they'll just see the words that they need to assist you with. Uh, so it's a really easy way to filter the list. Now you can actually select as many as you want and assign the user. So if I assign this, I can assign all of these words at once. Oh, well, maybe I did that wrong. Here it is. So from here, there's a little person icon there. You'll want to hit save, and that will assign any word that you have selected to that user. So you can quickly go through, mark all of the made up fantasy words your author invented, assign them to him, and have him come in here and record the pronunciations for you. Let's see, what was next here? Restore pronunciations. This is a big one. If you've had the problem where you had a collaborator come in and they somehow deleted your pronunciation data, or if you did it by accident, it's pretty common. And what I can do, there's a log for each one of these entries. And if there was a previous state that I wanted to restore this entry to, I'll see the entire history here. And if there's a previous pronunciation data, I can actually click this to restore it to that point. So for this word, I'll record this is a test, blah, 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 hit save. Now I'll have that recording in here. This is a test. If this just overwrote the previous pronunciation, but now I can come in here and click this, come back to the original one, and replace the research data here. So if I hit play,
Abortive.
It goes back to the correct pronunciation. So if you lose your pronunciations, don't panic. There's a little button right there to help you out with that.
A question from Kelly: when I assign a pronunciation to someone, what access must that user have? Yes, correct. If you give someone, and her next question is more than a viewer in order to be able to record. Yes, viewer literally gives you the ability to view things and you cannot edit anything. So they need researcher or above to be able to actually add things to your project.
Yep. You'll definitely want to make sure they have at least researcher right
And
here.
if you do have any questions where it says, click here to see the various project access levels right there, or you can click on the question mark icon on the top right. That will take you to a support page that'll answer all of your questions in terms of what permissions do what.
Exactly. Alrighty, so moving on there, another new feature here is actually we've introduced hotkeys. We've always had a couple on this page here. R on your keyboard will mark the top thing to add it to your research list. I will ignore. But now you actually are able to press Y, which will show you the context of the word. You can undo the last action that you did with Z. So if I ignore this and then I hit Z, that'll come back onto the list. And ignore word in all projects. You used to have to click this three-dot menu and then find that option here. If I just press T, Positron will never suggest that word to me again in any project I work on. So again, hotkeys. They are big time savers. So if you ever want to take a look at those and get used to using them, just hover over this button up here. And last but not least, the cloud button. Just want to stress this. This has been out for a little while, but I just want to stress how awesome it is. It saves a lot of time. You used to have to switch dictionaries and all of that. If you want to look at alternate pronunciations, you can click the cloud button on any one of these words and see everything that Positron was able to find on the word. So you don't need to switch dictionaries and reprocess the word. You can just look at them here, listen to each one.
Antenna.
And hit the plus button to add it to the word. It's a huge time saver. Always check that first if the word you're researching comes back blank. All right, we're making progress. The character guide. So a couple of updates. All of the Ellie, to answer your question, will the cloud bring up Youglish? It will not. So these links over here are not fully integrated with Positron. They're just links to those websites. So we're partially integrated. So this will check any of the dictionaries that are listed here. So any of our main integrations, it'll check those. So that's why if it's blank, check those first. And if it's still blank, that's when you would go to the right-hand side here and check these other links. But great question. So the character guide, a lot of what I just showed you, the hotkeys and everything like that, apply to the character guide. A couple of character guide specific features are the filter by AI tag, and also any aliases that you add to a character will be marked up in the export marked script feature now. So that's been requested for a little while. Happy to show that. But the AI tag, just so you know what this does, when you have when Positron has scanned your script, it's going to try and find all the characters. And if it also finds additional information about the character, cues about how they're described in the book, it'll put this AI tag on each of these. Now, what this does, if I add Alice, who does not have the AI tag, you'll see she comes in blank here. So I can enter her character description and her voice notes and all of that. But a character with this tag, if I add them to my character guide, and I'll add Valerie and Daisy as well, Positron actually automatically filled out some of this data here. So that's why this tag is called AI generated. It's generating the descriptions. So just want to say that that's the only thing it's generating here. But you'll be able to see cues that Positron pulled from the book. Now, these are really helpful, but if you have a giant list of potential characters, you want to find these AI tagged characters, all you have to do now on the right-hand side here where it says all words, switch this to AI generated, and it'll remove any character that doesn't have this AI tag. So you'll be able to see that right away, which characters Positron was able to help you out a little extra with. Um,
Really good question from Deborah here. Maybe I missed this, but a few books ago, I had a custom pronunciation from the author to pronounce Beryl, barrel, as burl. And she could not get Positron in proofing to recognize the custom pronunciation. And so they were all listed as mispronunciation. So good point, Deborah. Everyone uses the same proofing algorithm. So if you taught our proofing algorithm, if you had the ability to teach our proofing algorithm to recognize Beryl as burl instead of barrel or burl or whatever, however you pronounce that, that would change it for everyone, every user of Positron. So the use here is you use filter out. So Johnny, if you see a mispronunciation you're constantly getting, you click on it the very first time that you see it. So word inserted in, for example, you click filter out. That means every time Positron recognizes that mistake, it'll ignore it for the rest of the book. So in your case, every time Positron showed a mispronunciation for burl when the text says Beryl, you would filter. Think of it as ignore all in Microsoft Word. Does the exact same thing.
Yep, so this would ignore everything. You might have to do it a couple times because Positron's actually hearing what you said. So if you said Boral and it read Burl, that would be the occurrence that is filtering out. But if you said barrel another time, it would not filter that occurrence out with that button. So you might need to do it a couple times if you pronounced it differently throughout the project. Um, Great. Looks like we have a couple more questions. Kelly, yes, the AI generated. So this, where to find this? So this is the new feature that I'm talking about here. So from the suggestions list, when you're in the character guide suggestions list, once you have that open, go ahead and click on this little drop down in the top right, go to AI generated. And this will remove everybody that doesn't have the AI tag from the list so you can see right away and add them to your character guide. So that is it for the pronunciation guide, I believe. Oh, actually, aliases. So if you use our export marked script button, um, this will highlight each character in your script and put these notes into it as a comment. When you add an alias, so I could say Adam is an alias, Um, it will also highlight the alias now. It didn't used to do that, so that's been requested for a little bit, so we're happy to add that as well. All right, moving on to project management. And I believe this is the last main slide that we've got here. So the project management tools, if you go to your profile, there are some new insights that you can look at. So if I go to insights here, there's the missing text report. So this will show you for a particular project how many script words, so words in your script, were not found in your audio. So if I wanted to pick a project here, I don't even need to enter a start date. I'll just say get insights. This will download a report and it'll show me the amount of words it found in the script. So it found 6,837. And then it'll show me how many words were included in the audio. Um, so it only has 5,000 words here. So it'll tell me the number of words missed. So this is especially for a duet project or something complicated. You can use this report to get an idea of if anything was missed in the entire project. So that's brand new. Go ahead and test that out. Let us know what you think. The proofing insights and narration insights. Adam, do you want to talk about these? Explain
Yeah,
those for them?
so we're at Positron. Oh, sorry, I hadn't marked off some of these answers. So we're big believers in data. They help us um, that help us make decisions about our company and the things that we need to do. So what we've decided to start offering is some data to help you make decisions about your business, whether you're a VO or a production company or whatever. So the narration insights will give you insight into currently number of pickups you have per hour, for example. Eventually, it'll actually start giving you as a narrator, most of your pickups are mispronunciations and they're mostly so you can really get into getting data on your performance so you can figure out what you need to practice and work on. Um, Proofing insights gives you or if you're a company, insights onto how people are proofing your audio, how long it takes them to proof it, what type of things they're tagging as pickups and things like that. So again, more data on performance so you can make proper decisions. And then the missing text report is something that we're working on to really help identify one major issue, which is if you forget to upload a chapter, forget to proof a chapter, and then either that doesn't get included when you send it for distribution, or a unproofed chapter gets sent to distribution. That's something we're working on so we can better help you identify when a chapter has been missed or a large section of the text has been missed. So that feature
Exactly.
isn't missing text report isn't super effective right now. Um, uh, until it's, excuse me, combined with all the other things we're building in.
Exactly. And Kelly said, do you plan to expand the report to show how many pickups were fixed or ignored, etc.? I believe that's already in the proofing insights. Is that right, Adam? So you'll see, the amount of annotations that were suggested, how many were marked as pickup,
And how many
um,
were okay or
and
ignored,
how
yes.
many were okayed and all that. Yep, you'll be able to see that in the proofing insights report here. So yeah, play around with those. Let us know if there's any other data you'd like to have included into the narration insights or proofing insights. If you have a particular interest, let us know because we're looking to expand those reports as well. Um, Ellie has a question. My FMC is Riley, and Positron has many interpretations of the pronunciation of it. I see. So you've hit filter out a lot, and it's still getting flagged. Yeah, that's the case where, especially with the spelling of that, it and slight variations in the way you have pronounced the name, um, cause it to keep getting flagged. So in situations like that, your best bet is to just keep hitting that filter out button. Um, or no, yeah, that's definitely the best solution there. All right. Well, I think that is everything I had planned to go through. I think I'll pass it over to you, Adam, for the sneak peek. if you want to show that off.
And Kelly, at this point, I think it's probably best to book a demo with us. I know you've got a
Oh,
lot of questions, so it's probably best if you want to, Daria, if you can just send Kelly the demo button, the demo booking. Kelly, please book a demo with one of us. We'd love to answer all of your questions.
yeah, it
Um,
says book a demo, but really it's just book a call with us. We'd love to talk to you about it.
exactly. Johnny, if you want to open up studio staging, if you can, do
Absolutely. Give me 1 second. Get signed in. Well, I have to use two-factor authentication, so give me 1 second. Security is important, though it can be inconvenient when everyone's waiting for you. Uh, all right, great. Any particular project I should open up? Let's do it. Find the
no. Do you know what?
demo.
I've got it open. I can show it
Oh,
off.
okay.
I can-
I also have it. Oh no, I don't actually have it available.
You can just I just need you to give me permission to share.
All right. Wow. I'll stop sharing. You should be good.
Okay, so this is we've just internally for an internal release, we've just released the first steps of what we're calling the Posoprompter. The first steps of this are going to be it's going to be a way to fully and no one else will see that pause prompter tab, so don't worry about that. It needs to be activated and given beta access to, and this is our staging environment anyways. um, but what we're going to be building out is, so this is our clean display of the script you uploaded. On the left side you're going to have access to your pronunciation guide and your character guide. So let's say you scroll down, and let's see, what's the first character that we come up with? Gatsby. Okay. You could double click on Gatsby, add it to your pronunciation list. So as you're doing your full listen, you're going to be able to, your pronunciation guide, or your character guide, I should say, you're going to be able to seamlessly add things to your research lists. If you find cues, so for example, um, the man who gives his name to this book, say that's something you really want to add to your notes about that character Gatsby, click and highlight, a button will come up, add to character. So you're going to be able to add all of those notes, whether it's how a character is described, how that character's speech is described, or anything like that. So you're going to be able to do that. Then we're going to have a script sync feature where you're actually going to be able to um, display little play button, for example, over the name Gatsby, so you can hear the correct pronunciation of his name, or the character voice that you've recorded into the character guide. So make that full. It's going to be a very full and easy way to do your full script read inside of Pozotron, and then sync all of our script sync tools. But then also, this is a teleprompter. So not only will you be able to do that, hopefully you can still see my screen, Johnny. I
Yep.
maximized it.
Yeah, we see it.
So it's also going to be able to be automatically scrolling. So both from a reading perspective, as you're doing your full read, I could speed up here. So we're going to have many more speed options here, but this is at double speed. So you don't have to be sitting there scrolling. You can just be having your eyes scroll with the screen. It is a little jumpy right now because I've got too many windows open. But then the other thing is you're actually going to be able to narrate off of this teleprompter. So there is some science to show that teleprompters do help reading accuracy. We're also looking at a couple of integrations with other tools that allow you to guide your eyes through that. One of them is called Beeline Reader, I believe, that a couple narrators have asked us to integrate with. So all of these ways we're building out to stop pickups before you even start recording. That's kind of our vision with this tool. This is our very first beta of this internally, but we're going to be adding some of those prep features. And then the next step of that is going to be adding in support for to make your actual narration off of this easier, faster, more efficient, and most importantly, more accurate.
Exactly. And this is, yeah, very early sneak peek, but yes, to answer your question, Danielle and Ellie. Well, Ellie, can we re-upload the Mark script to use with the teleprompter feature? So this would actually kind of remove the need to export a Mark script. All of your, when you add a word to your pronunciation guide, add a character, those words will be highlighted straight on the teleprompter. You'll be able to see the notes to the side, and we're trying to make it all so you don't need multiple screens open. You'll see it all on this teleprompter.
Exactly. So, if you do markup dialogue, eventually we would say you can automatically mark all lines of a character dialogue in certain colors on here. So basically, you're bringing all of your script markups that you do in Adobe or whatever you use, Notability or anything else. The idea is that you're going to be doing it all in Positron.
Hmm.
And then good question from Deborah. I'm assuming you can enlarge the type for teleprompter narration. Yes, you're going to have control over, you can change the font, you can change the spacing, you can change the color of the font, the size of the font, all that.
The
The voice.
background color, the everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So very early representation right here, but we thought it'd be fun to give you a sneak peek into what we're working on next. But it will have all of those. Yeah, Liz, night mode. Absolutely. I'm the internal champion for that feature, so hopefully it's available soon. Um, and Ellie, to answer your question, even using a pen for hand-drawn markings in the Posit prompter, I believe this is part of our plans for it. We really want to be able to allow you to do anything that you're doing outside of Positron in here and have it all seamless for you. So obviously it'll be the same way we've advanced our other features is listening to your feedback and implementing those every week and keeping our developers busy. So it'll be the same with this, but that is the goal.
And our plan for just rolling out, we'll be rolling out a beta of the prep mode, which is the ability to, read your script and automatically, add things to your pronunciation and character guides that way. In the next couple months, depending on some other projects we have ongoing. But we'll do what we always do, which is release a beta, do focus groups, um, uh, release a secondary version and get more feedback and continue to iterate on it. Kelly, if you want to send a
Exactly.
quick email to hello@positron.com, we can send you a link to book a meeting with us and we can add you to our beta tester list.
That'd be great. Well, look at that. 2 minutes. We had 2 minutes left, so we got through it all. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope this was helpful. Hope you learned some new tricks. If there are further questions or feedback, please don't hesitate to reach out and book a call with us. But with that, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you.